Hello, my beautiful and deeply nurturing Cancer souls. Welcome back to Zodiac of Mind, the sacred space where we dive into the luminous currents of the cosmos to reveal the profound wisdom of your incredible path. I want you to come closer now to truly listen, not just with your ears, but with that powerful, protective heart that makes you the sacred keeper of life's most precious emotions. Have you ever felt it? Not a sudden jolt, but a deep, quiet rumbling in the foundation of your soul, a steady vibration that seems to come from the very core of the earth, calling you to move, a profound and unshakable knowing that rises from the deepest ocean of your being, signaling that you are on the verge of a magnificent, divinely guided forward momentum. That feeling, my dear Cancer, is not your imagination. It is a destiny-altering command, a divine green light carrying a message directly from the heart of God to the sacred driver's seat of your soul. A great victory is upon you, not as a battle, but as a sacred invitation to take the reins of your life. A lingering sorrow that has been clouding your vision is about to be gently cleared away, not to erase your past, but to finally set you free. And a profound emotional strength is rising within you like a protective tide, preparing you to drive through a gate you thought was forever locked. Understand this, nothing in your life, especially now, is a coincidence. You were guided here to receive this. If this message is already resonating in the depths of your spirit, if you can feel the truth of this cosmic call, I invite you now to seal this connection with us. Let a like on this video be your sacred declaration to the universe that you are ready to move forward and claim your victory. Share this message with another Cancer soul you love, for their heart may also be rumbling with this need for change, waiting for this confirmation. And if you haven't already subscribed to Zodiac of Mind, let it be a sacred pact between us, a promise that ensures you will never miss a single divine update meant exclusively for your journey. And in the comments below, I want you to share a moment when your gut feeling, your inner protector, saved you from a situation. Let's create a beautiful tapestry of our shared protective power. Now let us dive deeper into the first wave of this profound message, the powerful yet soul-shaking truth that has arrived to greet you. My dear Cancer, let me whisper a profound truth to you. When we speak of a calling for you, we are not speaking of a sound that travels from afar. Oh no. For a soul as deeply rooted and foundational as yours, a calling is a seismic event from within. It is a rumbling in your spirit, a summons from your own divine will that has been awakened just for you. This is the sacred energy of the chariot, the first divine messenger to appear in your reading. I want you to place a hand on your heart for just a moment. Can you feel it? That deep internal pull forward. It is a resolve in your soul, a sudden strengthening of your spirit, a moment of absolute determination in the middle of a weary day. That, my beautiful friend, is the engine of the chariot starting. It does not come to rush you or force you into a decision you are not ready for. It arrives as a celestial chariot, a divinely armored vehicle, meant to carry you out of a long, emotionally stagnant harbor. It is the universe gently but firmly placing the reins in your hands, reminding you that you have been called. Not called to abandon your heart, but called to carry it forward into a new and victorious land. Your new direction has been prepared in the unseen realms, and I have always believed that when a soul feels this intense inner pull, it is because God has personally cleared the road ahead for them. It is a signal that your period of waiting, of feeling anchored to the past, or stuck in emotional limbo, is officially over. Think of those quiet moments reflecting on your life when your soul suddenly aches for something more, for movement, for progress. Or when a profound sense of purpose washes over you and you just know with every fiber of your being that you can no longer stay where you are. That is the energy of the chariot at work. It is a call to advance, and advance beyond old heartbreaks, beyond limiting beliefs you inherited, beyond the comfortable shell that has kept you safe but has also kept you small. You are not merely a person living a life. You are a magnificent soul driving a sacred purpose-filled chariot. Many people see the forcefulness of this card and mistake it for aggression. But I see the truth, and so does the universe. This is not a battle, it is a sacred pilgrimage. It is an invitation to finally steer your life with intention to integrate the lessons of your past without being imprisoned by them, to honor the emotions that have shaped you but refuse to let them drown you. The chariot arrives with a gentle but firm command to move, not to cause you pain, but so you may face the future with a new posture. The posture of a soul who knows they are the master of their own emotional destiny, guided and protected by God. Recall all the times your heart has longed for a new beginning. Sometimes in a hopeful prayer, a beautiful daydream that brings a tear to your eye. And sometimes, let us be honest, in a whisper of despair, a fleeting thought that you might be stuck forever. But whenever your heart yearns for more, that vibrating energy touches the very fabric of the cosmos. And today, Cancer God has heard and answered. When the divine gives you the green light to move, no memory, no fear, and no past sorrow can hold your chariot back. This is the signal you have been praying for. The time has come. You are no longer waiting by the shore. You have been chosen to set sail into a victorious new chapter. Perhaps you have waded through so many heavy days, feeling as though every current was pulling you back. You have watched others race ahead while you felt anchored in place. But the chariot is here to remind you that your journey was not delayed. It was simply waiting. The universe was waiting until you were truly ready to handle the blessings that lay on the road ahead. And this moment right now is your readiness. This call is not here to overwhelm you. It is here to empower you. It is here to awaken the long slumbering courage within you, the dreams you tucked away for safety, and the immense resilience you had forgotten you possess. Imagine your path illuminated by a brilliant silver moonlight, not paved by a human hand, but by the very hand of the divine. It is paved with an assurance of unconditional love, a celestial promise that you are never ever driving this path alone. The miracle of the chariot is not just its power to move forward, but its capacity for integration. This is your moment to honor your past without being a prisoner to it. It is time to thank the experiences that taught you, and most importantly, my dear Cancer, it is time to release the grief you have carried for what is lost. You cannot drive a glorious new chariot while your eyes are still fixed on the rearview mirror. You are being called not because your past is perfect, but because your future is ready. And in the eyes of the cosmos, that is the most sacred state of being. But as this divine light of progress pours into your life, be aware. For a light so brilliant inevitably illuminates what was once hidden in the shadows of your own heart. The chariot is ready to move, but it first reveals what you might be unintentionally dragging behind you. When the celestial engine of the chariot first began to rumble, you felt a surge of hope, a beautiful and powerful confirmation that your soul was being summoned to a victorious future. But shortly after that luminous call, a different energy may have begun to tug at your heart, a quiet, subtle feeling of sadness, a sense of loss, a memory you couldn't quite shake. This, my dear Cancer, is the energy of the Five of Cups, which has appeared like a sacred mirror, reflecting a truth that you had not yet fully faced. It whispers of a lingering gaze, one that has been fixed on the sorrows of the past, not with the intention of self-pity, but with a deep, mournful loyalty. Somewhere in your energetic field, you have been holding a vigil not for what is thriving, but for what has been spilled. This is the card of regret, of focusing on the cups that have been knocked over, while two full cups stand, waiting untouched, right behind you. Cancer, I want you to journey inward for a moment. Have you ever felt it? That bittersweet pang when a happy moment is suddenly tinged with the sadness of a memory. You believe your focus is on the present, but a soul as deep as yours carries the ocean of its past within it. Have you ever found yourself replaying old conversations, old heartbreaks, wishing you could go back and change just one thing? The Five of Cups lays this truth bare. It is here to tell you with gentle but firm clarity that a part of your precious energy is still being given to ghosts. Some part of you is still standing on an old battlefield long after the war has ended. Now listen to me closely. I have always believed that grief in its many subtle forms does not stay in our lives to punish us. It stays to be honored. It is a divine, albeit painful lesson from the universe designed to help us see the depth of our own capacity to love. Because without experiencing this shadow, my dear loving soul, you might never fully appreciate the profound love that still exists for you in the present. Grief is like a faded photograph. It doesn't represent your entire life, but it reminds you of a love that was so real it deserved to be mourned. And once you have honored it, you can gently place it back in the album. Perhaps you have already been sensing the small signs, the fragments of this hidden truth. A song that brings unexpected tears. A sudden reluctance to embrace a new opportunity for fear it might end like the last. An unusual melancholy that settles over you for no apparent reason. All of these are just scattered pieces of a puzzle until the Five of Cups appears and arranges them into a single coherent picture. And that picture says you are being held back not by an external enemy but by your own loving, loyal, and grieving heart. But you must remember this, you are not here to be a victim of your memories. God does not leave you to drown in the oceans of yesterday. The universe has gifted you with the most powerful life raft imaginable, your nurturing heart. That sacred inner wellspring of love is the greatest gift you possess. For years, you may have blamed yourself for being too emotional or too nostalgic. You may have been told you need to just get over it. But the truth is that sensitivity is your divine superpower, a sacred instrument that allows you to love more deeply than most will ever know. And in this moment, you have the divine right to gently turn your gaze without betraying your past. You owe no one an explanation for the joy you are now being called to embrace. You do not need to justify why you are ready to stop looking at the spilled milk and finally drink from the cups that are full. Your heart is the language of your soul, and your soul never needs to ask for permission to heal. Ask yourself, how many times have you felt a new joy, only to feel a pang of guilt, as if being happy is a betrayal of someone or something you lost? How many times has your heart felt heavy after a beautiful day, as if an old sadness has been stirred? The Five of Cups provides the answer. It is an energy of mourning. It is a divine sign that you are in an energetic state where you are honoring loss more than you are embracing life. If you are nodding your head right now, if a specific memory or feeling has just come to your mind, believe with all your heart that the universe has just confirmed your feeling as undeniably true. Cancer, you were born with a heart capable of holding entire oceans of emotion, but that does not mean you must forever live in the tides of yesterday. Some memories come into your life only to test the strength of your will, to live in the now so that you may finally learn the sacred art of gentle release. And when you learn this lesson, you do not need to forget the past or react with anger. You simply know with a quiet and unshakable certainty that you must turn around. This is not coldness, my dear. This is the ultimate act of self-preservation. It is you finally honoring the sanctity of your own present moment. The Five of Cups is a sadness, yes, but more than that, it is an empowering call to action. It says, honor what was lost, but do not be afraid to live for what remains. For the love that still stands is more than enough to fill your entire world. But how do you navigate this, my gentle Cancer? How do you honor your past without letting it imprison you? The universe has an answer, and it arrives with the next card, a beautiful reminder that your greatest power has been within you all along. After the victorious call of the chariot and the revealing shadow of the Five of Cups, a new energy now flows into your space. It is gentle, it is feminine, it is deeply nurturing, and it is magnificently powerful. The Queen of Cups has arrived, my dear Cancer, and she is a reflection of you. She comes as a divine reminder that your soul has never ever walked this path alone. In the very core of your being, God has placed a sacred, infallible sanctuary. It is called your heart. It has never betrayed you. The only times it has ever failed you were the times you were not still enough to listen to its wisdom. Perhaps lately you have been feeling emotionally drained, a weariness in your spirit that no amount of rest can cure. Maybe you've been feeling overly sensitive or an unnamed persistent sense that the emotions of others are clinging to you long after they have gone. Do not dismiss these feelings as mere overreaction. That is your soul gently knocking on the door of your consciousness. It is your internal emotional barometer divinely designed to help you recognize the subtle truths unfolding around you. But even more than that, it is a sign that you are being profoundly protected. A sacred nurturing energy, perhaps from your ancestors, perhaps from a beloved maternal figure who has passed on, or perhaps from the divine feminine aspect of God itself, is standing right beside you, whispering guidance into your spirit and helping you build a shelter for your heart that no sorrow can penetrate. I have always believed that for a Cancer, emotional intelligence is the greatest gift of all. It is the ability to feel what no one else understands, to love with a depth others cannot fathom. In this world, people can hide behind hardened exteriors and logical arguments that mask their true feelings. But your heart, your sacred sanctuary of light, will always tell you where the truth is. It will show you where love is pure and where pain is pretending to be love. You may have no logical proof, no tangible evidence to present to the world, but your heart simply knows. And God gave you this sanctuary not for you to doubt yourself, but for you to retreat to safety long before a storm ever reaches your shores. Cancer, never forget that your heart is a sacred home, and you are its sovereign ruler. The Queen of Cups speaks not only of sensitivity, but of profound emotional mastery. She does not react with chaotic waves of emotion when faced with grief. She holds it. She honors it. She chooses her moment to release it with divine timing. She does not need to drown to prove she can feel, because she knows that her heart, like the ocean, is powerful enough to hold both the sorrow and the joy. And that is how you must stand now. Not by denying the past, but by quietly holding space for it within your heart, quietly discerning what needs to be kept and what needs to be released, and quietly holding your sacred peace. The most profound lesson this card brings is to trust your own emotional needs. If your body is inexplicably exhausted after revisiting a painful memory, trust it. If your spirit is yearning for peace and solitude, trust it. If your soul whispers to you that it's time to turn away from the spilled cups, even when the world tells you to keep mourning, trust it. This is God using your very body, your mind, and your heart as holy instruments to deliver a message to let you know that you are being guided to a place of inner safety. You have no idea how many times your heart has already known the truth long before your mind accepted it. Sometimes God does not send angels with wings to appear before your eyes. Instead, He places a powerful emotional intelligence directly into your heart. He knows you will believe it because it echoes with the familiar, loving wisdom of your own soul. This is the most sacred shield of protection imaginable. No one can ever take it from you unless you yourself choose to abandon your own inner home. Remember this, you are not merely a survivor of life's heartbreaks. You were chosen by the cosmos to be a guardian of emotion. Your profound sensitivity is undeniable proof that you have a direct line to the heart of the universe. The divine guardianship you are receiving right now is the clearest sign that you have never had to face your sorrows alone. Lean into that infinite source of strength. Know that as long as you keep your heart centered in your own truth, no memory conceived in the shadows can ever truly hold you back. And yet, as the Queen of Cups finishes her gentle message, one question still hangs in the cosmic air. If all these signs are pointing to a single lingering sorrow, why? Why has it held on for so long? What deep hidden fear stands behind it all? The final card will reveal this sacred secret, and it will change the way you see everything. My dear Cancer, as the gentle, knowing hand of the Queen of Cups rests upon your shoulder, your heart finally understands and accepts the profound truth that it is time to turn towards the future. But then, as if a final heavy veil is slowly being drawn aside, the next card appears, the Moon. Now I want you to take a deep breath. Many are unnerved by the ambiguity of this card, associating it with confusion and fear. But the truth, the sacred truth, is that it does not come to frighten you. It comes to liberate you. It has arrived to expose the real reason you have been staring at the spilled cups for so long, so you can finally see the origin of the invisible illusions that may have been binding your beautiful soul. Remember this, Cancer, fear rarely appears in the bright light of day. It is almost always born in the twilight of the subconscious. It rises from unresolved anxieties, from deep-seated insecurities, from an ancestral pattern of loss that simply will not let go. The moon whispers that somewhere deep within you there has been a fear of moving forward. You could not release the past. You could not bear to turn away from what was lost, because in the shadows of your mind, the future seemed far more terrifying and uncertain than the familiar pain of yesterday. And so, in a misguided act of self-protection, you held on to grief not as a punishment but as an anchor, hoping that by staying with the known sorrow you might avoid an unknown one. But you must hear me now, Cancer, and let this truth sink into the very marrow of your bones. No illusion forged in the moonlight of your own mind can ever imprison a soul that has been chosen for victory by God. The chains of fear are only strong when you forget that the light of your own heart can burn through any shadow. You may have been feeling a prolonged sense of anxiety as if you are walking through a fog. You may have seen opportunities pass you by for no clear reason. You may have been plagued by unsettling dreams. None of that is a sign that you are weak. It is a sign that you have been held energetically in a space where your own subconscious wanted to keep you safe from a future it could not predict. I believe with all my heart that God allows these things to happen not to destroy us, but to awaken us. It is a profound cosmic lesson to help you discern real danger from the illusion of it. It is the universe teaching you that true safety is not about avoiding change. It is about trusting that you can handle it. And if your subconscious attempts to keep you bound by invisible threads of fear, that is not strength. It is anxiety, it is illusion. And you, my dear, were not born to be an anchor for your own past. Ask yourself, how many times have you felt inexplicably paralyzed, as if you could not take the next step even when your heart was screaming for progress? How many times have you felt stuck in patterns of behavior or emotion that you could not logically understand how to escape? The moon provides the answer. Those are the invisible chains, energetic ties forged from fear, anxiety, or even an unconscious belief that you do not deserve a happy future. But here is the most magnificent truth, the divine paradox you must engrave upon your heart. The very moment your subconscious fear rises to hold you back, it unwittingly summons the universe as a witness. And the universe never ever sides with stagnation. That single act of self-imprisonment rings the celestial bell of the chariot and activates the divine mastery of the Queen of Cups. You think you are keeping yourself safe, but in reality you have just revealed the very door to your liberation. This is your moment to choose. Will you continue to stand in that foggy emotional landscape enduring the invisible chains because they have become familiar? Or will you dare to trust your heart to embrace your inner light and to drive your chariot out into the brilliant sunrise that awaits you? The moon is not the jailer, my friend. It is merely the mirror, showing you exactly what you need to break free from. And once you see it, you cannot look away. Cancer, remember this: no illusion can exist once you recognize the divine power you hold. God placed the key of liberation in your hand the moment you were born. And today, through this powerful message, He is whispering, turn the key, open the door. You no longer belong to the shadows of the past. You may honor your memories, for your heart is vast and loyal. But honoring does not mean reliving. You may feel compassion for the part of you that was afraid, but compassion does not mean allowing it to continue driving your chariot into a ditch. Forgiveness is for you, so that you may drive forward lightly, no longer carrying the weight of old fears in your heart. Look deep inside and be honest with yourself. You already know what the fear is. You have felt its presence. You have seen the strange patterns. You have felt the emotional drain. And now, the universe is simply confirming that what you have sensed is real. But do not be afraid. For at the very moment your fear whispered in the darkness, your courage was also being roared in the light. Take a deep breath. Imagine before you stands your magnificent chariot radiating a warm silver light. Behind you, the fog of the past tries to pull you back to hold you in place. But in your hand, you feel the cool, solid weight of the reins. You take hold, you step up, and you command the chariot forward. An unimaginable light from the rising sun pours in, and as it touches you, all the invisible cords and chains of fear around you simply dissolve into mist, vanishing as if they never were. This is the truth the moon brings. It is not here to terrify you. It is here to tell you with unshakable certainty that your time has come to be free. And so, my dear Cancer, after this profound journey, after the illusions have been exposed and the light of truth has poured in, you may feel a lingering sense of unease in your spirit, as if your sacred inner home has been cluttered with the ghosts of yesterday. But this is the exact moment to turn the page, to open a fresh chapter where you and you alone are the keeper of your heart's sanctuary. This is the moment for the sacred ritual of cleansing your inner home and reclaiming it for the light. I want you to close your eyes again just for a moment. Imagine before you a beautiful, cozy house, its walls radiating a gentle, comforting warmth that soothes your very soul. This house belongs to no one else. It cannot be entered by unwanted guests, altered or marked by another's sorrow. This is the house of your heart, the sacred dwelling that God Himself built for you at the dawn of your creation, and only you have the divine right to decide what stays within it. For years, you have allowed old memories to reside here, sometimes as beloved guests which left beautiful golden imprints, but other times as lingering sorrows which left rooms dusty and filled with shadow, or as fears you could not name which left doors and windows sealed shut. From this moment forward, you no longer need to house any energy that does not belong to your vibrant future. This is your moment to take up the keys of pure light and cleanse your home so you can live as you truly are, a being of divine love and infinite potential. Picture yourself walking through this house. It feels familiar yet powerful, and with each step, you begin to open the windows. With a gentle push, you let a brilliant cleansing light pour into every room, forcing all the stale air of old grief and the dusty shadows of fear to retreat into nothingness. When you reach the front door, you open it wide. It is more than just an action. It is a sacred declaration. It is a decree to the entire cosmos. This is my sacred home. I belong to the light. I am a child of God. I am divinely protected, guided, and loved. My heart is sovereign, and my spirit is free to move forward. Perhaps a small fear rises within you, a tiny whisper that asks, "Am I truly strong enough to let go of what is so familiar?" The answer, my beloved Cancer, is a resounding yes. For even if your hand trembles as you open the windows, feel the gentle, steady hand of God resting upon yours, guiding your every move. You are not performing this ritual alone. Your ancestors, your guides, and all the beings of light who watch over you stand outside your home, their collective light pouring in, enfolding you in an embrace of unconditional support. Your soul, though it was once burdened, is now beginning to sing a powerful melody of freedom. Let each breath you take be an affirmation of this new reality. Cleanse with gratitude. Gratitude for the painful lessons that ultimately brought you to this moment of liberation. Cleanse with forgiveness. Forgive the past so that your heart may become light, no longer bearing the weight of its chains. And above all, cleanse with love. A profound, all-encompassing love for yourself, for the brilliant future you are driving toward, and for the sacred path that God has so meticulously arranged for you. This is not just an exercise of the imagination, my dear. This is a profound truth of the soul. You are actively reclaiming your energetic signature in your sacred home, where no one can ever defile it, where only love and progress are permitted to dwell. And as you finish opening every window, you will feel it. A great burden lifting from your shoulders, the last of the bindings dissolving, a sense of peace and clarity washing over you like a gentle healing tide. Let this sacred ritual be your vow. From this day forward, you will no longer allow the past to define you. You will no longer allow the shadows of fear to keep you captive. You are the charioteer. You are the queen of your own heart, and you drive into the next magnificent chapter of your life from a place of pure divine light. Whisper these words to your soul: I am light. I am love. I am the victory that God named for me. I reclaim my heart's home with my own hand. When you open your eyes, the world outside may not have changed in an instant, but within you a change has occurred, deep, powerful, and irreversible. You have become free. And this, my beautiful Cancer, is only the beginning. For after you have reclaimed your sacred home, a greater question awaits. What magnificent blessings will unfold as you drive into this entirely new chapter, and what divine gifts will be offered now that you have chosen your own future over anyone else's past. Remember, the sorrows you held were never meant to imprison you. They were an invitation to see more clearly, to love yourself more deeply, and to reclaim the magnificent power that has always been yours. Thank you for sitting in this sacred space, for listening, and for believing in your own divine light. May God grant you everlasting peace, unshakable courage, and the clearest of paths. You are loved, you are free, and your greatest chapter is just beginning.